Welcome back to Globe TV. My name is Orr Kolesnik. I am the founder of Globe Immigration, a Canadian immigration law firm located in Toronto, Ontario. And today I'd like to discuss refugee claims, refugee claimants, asylum seekers. People from all over the world come to Canada to seek protection, international protection, because they believe that their lives and the lives of their families are at risk if they are returned back to their home countries. Our firm has been representing clients in your situation for over 15 years. Personally handled thousands of cases and understand the type of legal process that requires to win a refugee claim. And that is why I'm doing this video, because we get clients coming to our office at different stages of their refugee process. There are clients that come in, people that come in before they even make a refugee claim. They seek legal advice, and we take on their representation from the very, very beginning and navigate it and represent them until the decision is made. There are people that come to our office after they filed their original refugee claim, they've registered it, and then they seek legal representation. And then there are people who have filed their claims and they're midway through, halfway through, or even longer. But at any time before they get a refugee hearing, they will contact us to take over their claims because, one reason or another. So no matter what your situation is, you can always contact us and we can, take on you as a client and represent you in this complicated immigration process. However, it is always best to start everything and do everything properly at the very, very beginning. And here's why. A refugee claim consists of several parts before the final decision is made. So there's the filing, initial registration and the filing of a refugee claim. But before that, depending how this claim is made, whether it's made at the airport or a port of entry, or it's made after a person is already in Canada, that will determine what kind of information and documents that have to be provided. But everything that from the very, very beginning, when a person initiates that claim, when they say, hey, I want to make a refugee claim, from that moment on, everything is recorded. Everything remains in your file, in the person's file. And all of this information will always end up before the member of the board, a refugee judge, who will make the final determination on your claim. So everything that you say, everything that you write, everything that is being presented from the very, very beginning is always going to follow and stay in the claim, in the case, all the way until the end. Now, when everything is prepared properly from the start and the information that's provided is complete, it's true, it's correct, those cases are always the best, because later on you don't have to start changing anything and you don't have to provide explanation as to why you're making changes and why certain things have happened. And a lot of the times it is necessary to make those changes after people come to our office midway through, because when we look at their narratives, and that's basically a written account of events that had led you as a refugee claimant to seek asylum, right? So there's always that written part at the very beginning that you have to submit with the refugee claim. It's called basis of claim form, where you describe the circumstances and the history of what brought you to Canada to make that refugee claim. So the changes can be made later on, but it's always comes to the attention, and you have to provide an explanation as to why you've made changes, especially if there's significant changes during your hearing. It's all doable, and again, people have come to our office where we had to do significant changes and updates to their narrative, because when they would present the original story to us, there's so many gaps, there's so many it's sometimes even inconsistencies, not enough information, or information that's not even necessary to be a part of the claim. So these original filing, the basis of claim form, the narrative, the story, it's crucial to your case, and it's crucial that it is complete, true, and correct in every sense of the word. So to begin, before you even think about or make that refugee claim, it's always good to contact us, and we can properly prepare you from the very, very beginning, so everything goes smooth until the hearing, and the case can be presented in a consistent manner, right? Um, so that's sort of the best possible approach to a refugee claim. So don't hesitate. You can contact us if you are still you're not in Canada and you're planning on coming to Canada to make that claim, whether you're crossing through the United States, and you're planning on making a claim at the port of entry, at the border, right? So this is not uncommon, where people will reach out through WhatsApp or email, directly calling us or texting us. There's just so many ways, and we can have Zoom consultations as well. Just many different ways we can initiate the contact and start representing you from the very, very start. Many of the, there's second type of people who will initiate that refugee claim, and then they come to us and want us to take over the case after they have already submitted their story, their narrative, and they're just kind of waiting in limbo, and they don't know what's going on. They're just kind of waiting to get to hear from immigration, from Refugee Protection Division, and they're under impression that that's all there is. They just have to wait for their hearing, where in fact this is somewhat, this time while you're waiting should be utilized to prepare your case, right? That's, yes, the reason why you are waiting for a long time to get a hearing is not because the government wants to give you time to prepare the case, but it just happens to be because of the so many people make refugee claims. There's only so many judges to hear the cases, but this is the time to prepare. So it's important to understand what kind of documents you need. Have these documents reviewed, make sure everything is in tune with the narrative. There's no mistakes, there's no inconsistencies. So all of these things, you can definitely contact us, even if you filed that refugee claim, and we can assist you and start representing you midway through. That's not a problem at all. But the first thing we always do, and this happens, I would say 95% of the time when people come in halfway through, there's always changes that we make, and amendments, not necessarily changes, but amendments to their narrative, because we always find that it's lacking in information and detail, or sometimes it has too much information and detail that's not relevant to their case, right? So it can go one way or another, and all of these things are very, very important, because when only someone who understands and has the experience and has the capabilities and interest in your case can provide you proper advice on what precisely should be included, what precisely should not be included in that narrative. And that's what we do. We really focus on that, and specifically tailoring to your situation and your background. So that's really the initial step in the process when we take over any refugee claim. Because by the time you get to that hearing, it's too late. It is too late to go to a hearing and all of a sudden find yourself with a big credibility issue. Because we also do a lot of refugee appeals, and people will come to the office when the refugee claims have been refused, and you start appealing the cases, and then, I would say number one reason for refusal is credibility. And that is most of the times, based on my experience, is because these claimants, people, the refugee claims, or the paperwork, or the narratives, or the documents, or the testimony, It's just there's inconsistencies, there's problems with all of this, and it results in the credibility concern. So knowing and understanding your own refugee claim and the process is crucial to your case. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to make sure that not, representation works both ways, right? So, it's not just your representative, it's not just your counsel who's, you know, who has responsibility to, well, I'm representing you, so don't worry about anything. Well, no, it's a there's two parts. You have to be involved in your case, understand your case, and understand what you're walking into when you go to that hearing. And we have the ability and understanding of the system and the process enough to be able to explain to you in simple terms, because that's what it is, right? When I go to my mechanic, I'm not expecting for my mechanic to start telling me the intricacies of what's underneath the hood of my car. I don't know, but I expect a simple explanation where I understand the concept, right? What needs to be done, and anybody who's capable to represent you should be able to explain to you in simple terms and prepare you for that entire process and for your hearing. And anybody who can't explain something in the simple terms, that means they just don't understand it, or they're lacking in the knowledge, or they're just lacking in the patience or interest in your case. So that's what we do, right? The representation consists of not just the legal knowledge and understanding of the case, but also the ability to relay that knowledge to the client, right? It's just as important, because the client is the star. You're the star of your own show. You're the refugee claimant. When you go to the hearing, you're the one who's going to be testifying. It's not going to be your representative, right? So, I've always pointed that out, that the most important aspect of any representation is to be able to relay the client's to the client, to the person, to the claimant, to make sure that as a representative, that your client understands what's going on, that they know truly, not just say yes, 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 but really understand what you want them to understand during this process. And that's a very well prepared client. And when you're a prepared client, you can be confident enough to go to your hearing and provide testimony, provide answers to the questions that are being asked, and get a successful outcome. And that is what we do. We prepare our clients, we follow up, and we represent them. I represent clients all the time in their refugee claims personally, and we're very proud of the work that we do here. So no matter what your situation is, whether you have not filed the refugee claim, probably the best thing to do is to contact us and have us started representing you before, even for the filing. If you have already filed it, contact us and we can take over your claim, as well as if you are, well into your process, in the refugee claim process, and you're just kind of waiting for your hearing, contact us again. We can take a look at everything, and I can jump on board. We can jump on board at any point in time and get things organized, fixed, and prepare you so to make sure that you are competent enough to go through this process. And it is very intense. It can be very complicated. So don't just leave this to chance, as many people do, right? The time that you are going through this, it must be very, very scary for a lot of people. But with the right support and the right team on your side, rest assured that you will not make a mistake by contacting Globe Immigration. You can call us on WhatsApp. You can text us. You can email us. We can have, if you're not we're located in Toronto, Ontario, but we have clients all over Canada. It doesn't matter where you reside, whether you're in the East Coast or West Coast, whether you're in Central Canada. It doesn't matter. We represent clients no matter where you come from. Again, we speak several languages within the firm, so it's not a problem to communicate. And again, as you know, you're all aware that everything happens online now, so our door is always open for anybody to come in to the office here in Toronto. But if you reside in any other province or any other city, it's just as easy, because we do communicate. You have direct contact to everybody here on the team, and we all work together. Everybody has, specializes in particular areas. We all do our specific tasks, and we're all experts at this. So again, don't leave this to chance. Contact Global Immigration. We'll be happy to take a look at your situation and see what we can do and how we can navigate this process for you and your family. And again, it's best to do from the beginning, but no matter what stage you're at, don't hesitate. Contact us, ask questions. Don't hesitate to do that. But that's all I'm going to say for today. For all of you who are seeking protection in Canada, I wish you all the best. Again, this can be very intense for you and your families, but you will get through this. And if things don't go your way, you can always contact us as well for the appeal process, because there's a refugee appeal. Always timeframes for that, judicial reviews. Contact us for any of that also. But today I just wanted to really talk about the refugee claims specifically. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.